How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all well. Hit the like button if you haven't already, people. The regulars are back in the building bright and early. Am I hearing some background noise? No, we're good. Bright and early the morning after our second Champions League win of the campaign. Shakhtar Donetsk 1-0 win. We're here to talk all about that, but we're also here to talk all about Liverpool on Sunday as well. Yeah, so let's get into it, people. As always, we've got James, Lee, Judges, and Jordan back in the building. Me, Jordan, and James were present on the watch along yesterday, so we've talked quite a bit about the game throughout the game, after the game, a bit before, and a bit at half time. One man we didn't hear from is a man that got whisked away to some sort of diamond, platinum, gold member club thing. I don't know what's going on over there. Exclusivity. Lee Judges. Look at the smile on his face. He's trying to hold it back, but we all know what Lee's about already. Look at him. Lee, first and foremost,
people they call him.
Did you make the right decision? Like, in hindsight, now you've gone, you ditched us, you saw the game 1-0. Do you feel this morning that you're vindicated with that decision? Do you feel justified? Do you feel happy?
Yeah, I feel justified. I think if we'd have lost 5-0, I would have still felt justified. I've done the right thing, like, you know. The
prawns were nice, yeah? The prawns were nice.
No, I didn't have. I don't like prawns sandwiches. I like prawn cocktail, but not in a sandwich. I don't know about you guys, but that's, you know, we're all different. But I miss you boys yesterday. I was torn. It was a very, very difficult decision yesterday. I was torn. Like, you know what I mean?
Jordan, did he look torn leaving the studio?
No. It was more torn.
He skipped off to the stadium yesterday. Yeah.
It was more torn. It was more torn because, you know, I don't really want to miss a home game. That was what it come down to. I'll be really honest. You know, I think if it was an away game, I would have done it. I would have done it.
We'll give that a go.
You know, just saying about going at home, I was actually going on the train, and I'm still thinking, should I do the studio today and all that? And you see all the fans buzzing around, and you feel, oh no, I've got to go. You know, and
so there's nothing to do with the premium access you got.
Oh no, I didn't get that in the end. I'll turn that down. Didn't I tell you that?
What?
I didn't go because I've done the Fourever the live thing. I turned it down. So by the time I got into the ground, you know what I mean, it was too late.
All right, we'll let you off then.
No,
I don't know if he turned it down or he was too late for it. That's what I need to find out.
Yeah.
No, I chose to do the starting 11, didn't I? You know, so I said.
So you chose to do the show with Julian, and not the one with us.
Even worse.
Unbelievable.
No. Listen, if you want my honest opinion, I would have loved to have done the show. Why couldn't? If we'd have done the starting 11 and then gone to the game, that would have been even better. But you know, I felt after the game. I'm not gonna lie. I felt after the game, I made the wrong decision.
Oh, bless your heart.
Oh,
We'll
give you another chance.
I love you guys, and I tell you what, people coming up yesterday. I tell you, like, I had about 10 people yesterday coming up to me, like, very, very enthusiastic, like, you know, running up to me and saying how much they love this podcast. You know what I mean? So,
love. Oh, man. Nah, the love forever gets is mad. The community we built is crazy. We've already hit 1,000 likes, haven't we?
Surely.
Everyone should be checking right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, we've hit it. Make sure you're subscribed, all of that stuff. But Lee, all jokes aside, let's get into it. Champions League night. I heard very well while Jordan's flexing there. What did you do? Did you do a workout this morning or something? I just started going like this. Is everything all right this morning? What's going on?
I was scratching.
Yeah, say no more.
Don't do that on Channel 4, does he? Like, I'll just have to say, very, very professional when he's on there. Like, you know.
Leave me alone.
You just started going, yeah. As I'm doing my intro, but I heard it was quite subdued yesterday, Lee. Yeah.
I don't know what it was. We was talking about it. Going there, even walking to the ground yesterday wasn't like, you know, massively busy. Like, you know, when you go under the bridge, it's normally packed. It was like easy to get into yesterday. I think that a lot of people. I know it's bad because it was Shakhtar. I don't know, but it was like category A game. So like you're paying £90 to £100 for a normal ticket for that game. I don't know if that was putting people off, because it is an expensive thing going to watch the Arsenal. I think that might have had something to do with it. So there was a lot of tickets on Ticket Exchange and obviously being sold to different people. I don't know. I also think maybe, and I'm guilty of this as well. I don't know if you guys was as well. I had one eye on the Liverpool game. I was thinking it was like, get through this game, don't get no injuries. Funny enough, we did. But I sort of was like, like thinking of Liverpool every time the game was going ahead. You know what I mean? Even when people were getting substituted, I was, thinking like, what's he taking Jesus off for? Hasn't played for a little while. Like, is it because he's making sure that he's ready because Saka's not ready? It's just all things like that. I don't know. And also sometimes the team has to give the crowd a lift. Sometimes, it has to be like that, and it just wasn't a great game, guys. It was just a very, very subdued performance. Everything really, like, I don't want to go moaning on about it, like, the comments in which I've got me comment about it today. We're all negative and all that. No, we're not negative. We're just saying how it is game to game. And if Arsenal play bad and get a bad result, what are we supposed to come in here, be happy and all that? I'd love to be like that, by the way. I'd like to be when we play rubbish and we lose and just walk away from the game and think, oh, that's all right. It's only one game or it's only whatever and all that. But I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not like that. I wish I was, but I'm not. So when Arsenal play well...
Funnily enough, they all say players are not robots when we say certain things, or I say certain things. We're not robots either. We've got emotions, and I don't want to be like that, Lee.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like living in the Truman Show where everyone's...
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
I'm good.
I am like, I wish I could be a bit different. Like, I was talking to a couple of my mates during the game, like yesterday, and we were saying, like, I know it sounds silly. He's going. One of my mates said, "I wish I support Orient or Ipswich, where you don't care, like, you know what I mean." But I'd imagine that Ipswich and Orient fans get like us, you know what I mean? It's just people are different, and if Arsenal, listen, Arsenal were worse. I think worse as a team and everything yesterday in that game. But we won, so I'm not feeling as bad as what I was post Bournemouth. I can't help it. I thought it was a shocking performance yesterday, but I'm not as angry and about it because we got the job done. We won the game. It is about results at the end of it. But listen, it wasn't a great game. It wasn't a great evening. It was a chore. It was going back to last season. And I just asked you guys, how many games we played this year? Like, we've made 12. I think we've played well against PSG and half a game against Man City, or probably the whole game against Man City because of the defending side of it all. The other games, even though we've won them, I've not walked away going, wow, Arsenal were blowing me away with the performances, which they did towards the back end of last season. But someone reminded me yesterday, my mate Russ reminded me yesterday, we was a little bit like this at the beginning of last season as well. So he was sort of saying, don't worry. But is it a worry? I don't know, but it wasn't for me a great performance. I don't know how you guys got on watching it on the. I imagine if I was at home or watching that game, I would have been doing other things. I would have been walking around. I thought it was a hard watch, I have to say.
Well, Lee choked before Turkish kind of defers. We were talking about biscuits on the stream yesterday. That's how exciting we found the game. We were ranking our top 5 biscuits during the stream.
What did you go for? Rich tea? Did you have rich tea?
See, that's why you're my man, Lee.
Look, he rolled his eyes at you. What do you mean, your man?
I just knew that he'd have the most boring
biscuit you can get.
That's why you're my man, because you know me, Lee. No.
I knew you. You can tell you're a rich tea guy. I would say James is a bomb. No, I'm going to say custard cream man, like,
Oh, you got him. You got him.
Yeah.
Very well
I haven't
done.
seen this bit, like, you know what I mean?
Very well done.
I imagine Turkish is a hobnob or someone like that. Like.
Cheers, we'll have it, man. We'll take that. I mentioned that yesterday.
That was unbelievably accurate. Well done. Did you watch back the whole watch along?
No, I started watching the beginning of it, and when you were slagging me off, like I threw the phone. I don't know where the phone is. You know what I mean? Like cursing you all. You know what I mean? Like, listen, and do you know what makes it worse, guys? Right? I'm going to say it because I say it. I'm going to be honest here. I expect it of the man on the left. I expect what he's like. You know what I mean? I know he's a snake. You know what I mean? Comes up to you, he's all nice to you, and hello, Lee, love you loads, and all that, and then slags me off. But me and Turkish have got that relationship. I understand that he is what he is. Well, I know, but you two, you are spies in the camp. You know what I mean? The Turkish spies. You know, undercover agents. And do you know what? In the war and that those people got shot. They was the worst ones. You know what I mean? Like, and it's you two.
He said they were the worst ones.
The ones you can't trust, the ones that are putting knives in your back and then pretending to be your friend. They're the worst. At least Turkish is upfront and honest about it. We all know he's an arsehole. I get it. But you two.
Let down, yeah?
Sorry, Lee.
I'm really sorry, Lee. I'm really sorry.
I'm not. But yeah.
I love it, Turkish. Be like you are, Turkish. Like, I'll tell you, like, you know what I
mean? Be like you are. No, but Lee, a lot of fair points raised, and including the reaction to maybe our last couple pods or our last pod. Yeah, probably last pod. In terms of the feeling and aura around it, we got some comments on the watch along yesterday regarding it as well, which set me off to say the least. Because I'm like you, I think we've got emotions. We love the club. I get that there's some people that can completely detach and win, lose or draw, keep a smile on their face and positivity through their heart. But there's some people that are swayed by the results and maybe for 2 hours after the game, 24, 48 hours after the game. But we're all different. And if hearing thoughts that don't quite line up with your own causes as much pain as some of these people make out it causes, then don't watch it. I'd rather you look out for your own health and well-being and positivity rather than have us change you in any way. But the Fourever community, we love you as always. Listen, I tend to like debating with people that disagree with me more than agree, because if you agree, there's no real debate to it. So if you do disagree and can keep it respectful and understand that there are differing opinions across the fan base, not just in football, but across the world in anything, it makes for a smoother engagement, agree or disagree. But we move. Lee's given his thoughts.
Sorry, I'm dog sitting again, people.
I saw it there as well, just in the.
Oh, lovely.
Look at him.
Hey,
that's the Men in Black dog, isn't it?
No idea. I haven't seen Men in Black.
I haven't seen Men in Black.
No. But anyway, Houdini's back, people. He's just such a diamond. Anyway, I'm looking after him.
Jordan, you ain't seen Men in Black either. Will Smith and Tommy Lee
watch
Jones.
him go off about how it's nonsense or something. I don't watch this.
Lee, have you seen Men in Black?
I've seen the first one. It was a load of crap.
Yeah, but the first one has that little dog in it, the little alien dog. That's the dog, no?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I can't remember it.
I'm not calling your dog an alien, James. I'm just saying.
Oh, you looking after
got a bit silly, didn't it?
Kind of was.
Don't you think
it was like
it did. It got silly. Yeah.
Bloody hell. Okay,
it did.
I like the song.
Yeah, the song was a bang. Listen, we're doing everything but trying to dissect this Shakhtar game, and I know why.
We're struggling.
There's very little to dissect if it isn't.
I had to get a dog to make myself feel better about that performance.
Yeah,
no, I will say one thing. I thought Thomas Partey in the first half was outstanding. I think he looks a lot sharper.
Yeah,
looks like he's got the games under his belt now, and this is what we do. Like we talked about this yesterday. He gets to this level where he's super fit now and producing performance, and then normally gets injured, and then he has to go back, build himself up, but he looks like he's in peak condition. I thought in that first 45 minutes he was fantastic, but I do fear that if Ben White's not fit or whatever, or maybe even if Ben White is fit, he might go centre half, and if we played Thomas Partey at right back, I'd be furious, because I think second
we
half,
might not have a choice.
Well, there is a choice. There are choices, and I think sometimes I think it was the easier one for him. And I'm going to say it now. I don't want to be negative, but Marini, whatever his bloody name is, he looks about a yard off the pace. And I'm not
struggling. He's struggling.
I'm not saying it's his fault because he's coming back from injury, but I just thought for him to come on, I thought, right, he got 45 minutes in the position that we expected to play. I thought he was average, to say the least. But I'm going to give him a pass because he's only coming back from injury. But it wasn't the sort of 45-minute that I would like to have seen from him.
Yeah, didn't impose himself really.
Yeah.
But he'll get there. I'm confident.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will. I see glimpses that he's not a bad player, and you can see that he's got a good touch and all that. I just think he's off the pace more than anything, James.
Yeah.
The lineup, James. Obviously, much was said about the lineup against Bournemouth. Much was talked about the lineup going into this one. I did say he probably picked the strongest lineup he's got in terms of safety, experience, age, time at Arsenal, all in. Well, maybe aside from kind of Fury over Zinchenko, but we know why that is. But it really didn't bear fruit on the pitch. Both halves with changes made. But I guess there was no argument with it. Probably understandable. A lot of talk about Nwaneri should have featured because we're missing that creativity. But how do you feel overall about the lineup and what it produced?
I didn't love it, but I couldn't tell you why. I've got no good reason for why I didn't. I mean, he moved Trossard back into the 10. That's worked more than it hasn't worked. Havertz was up front. I do think we look quite 4-4-2 at times, though. I will say that. I thought Jesus, I wasn't sure about him starting on the right over Sterling. I thought that was a touch harsh on Sterling, who obviously was given the nod in the absence of Saka against Bournemouth. But I actually think he was justified in that. Jesus, I thought, looked quite bright. Sterling, on the other hand, his cameo didn't look particularly great. But I don't want to keep judging Sterling on 30-minute bursts here and there. Like, I'd like to see him. I know he started the Southampton game. I thought he did okay in that. He wasn't great, but I'd like to see a couple more sort of starts in bigger games for him. But yeah, with the lineup, I'm surprised he went quite as strong with things like Calafiore at left back. But look, he was proven right to go so big on the 11 because we didn't look good. Can you imagine if we'd rotated a bit? I mean, he knows his team and probably felt, look, this team need to be playing some football at the moment, and weren't as strong as he could.
But I guess the argument coming in now is that it's tweaks Arteta's making, or the mentality Arteta's infusing into the side is causing a bit of that issue, regardless of lineup, I guess.
How pragmatic we are to a degree, do you mean?
Yeah,
maybe.
That's why people are, thinking throwing in Nwaneri right now is the answer. It might be for a game, for a patch, but I don't think it's the answer for moving forward this season. Obviously, if Odegaard comes back fit and healthy, then we're in a much better position. But he's still a couple of weeks off at the very least.
I do think there's a fair question around. No one is sitting here saying, I can't believe you're not playing a 17-year-old in the Champions League, in the Premier League, week in, week out, right? No one's saying that. But then the question can then evolve to, then why didn't we have a more natural person to come in for Martin Odegaard if we were to find ourselves in this situation to the point where we wouldn't have to sort of tweak the system? Because one thing I said on my fan cam with Laurie is, and I need to look into sort of data, numbers, heat maps, all that. But does it ever feel to you like not only are we missing Odegaard in terms of a player of his quality, we're actually missing a player there, like physically in the positions he'd be in? Yeah. There were moments where Partey, would play out to White, and then White would give it out to Jesus, and there's some nice little combos. And then there's this big, big space between their left back and their centre back. And why? Because none of our players have come over to fill that space. Now, sometimes Havertz does drift over into that space, but if he does, then you've taken the person that the centre back's meant to be worrying about. You've sort of taken him out of their sort of back four and dropped him into our midfield to try and link up play a little bit, and you want him leading the line. Now, listen, we play a fluid system. Whoever we play out front has to drop into midfield. I get that. But it feels like there's an actual absence of a person even trying to recreate what Odegaard does, let alone someone who can do it even as well as him. So something isn't quite right about that dynamic for me.
I think, can I just come, sorry, because I've been going on, but I think this is a great point there because, people were saying this yesterday, who was talking about on the train home. You've let Smith Rowe go because you want, for whatever reason, where's the replacement for Odegaard? And I said, well, we didn't miss him at Villa, Tottenham, Man City, and I think the reason why is because you were away from home, we play a defensive system and everything. But I think when you look at it, every home game this season, we've missed that creativity, the little spark. It's been when we're at home games. PSG maybe not so much, but that's where we've missed him, and that's the problem coming into to Sunday. And we've not at one stage thought, do you know what? Let's try Wanyeri there, and create something. See if he can create anything. I'm not saying it is the answer, but when you're watching games like that yesterday, watching a struggle against Leicester, watching a struggle against, particularly more even so Southampton, maybe that's when we've started to miss Odegaard. I also think with Odegaard, I said it yesterday, sometimes you don't miss a big player for 1 or 2 games. It's when you get into the 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and all of a sudden you think, we are missing him. And I think that is a key point as well.
Yeah, 100%. Jordan, you've heard us all have a little say on it, some more than others.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what's been said, Turkish. I mean, I don't have an abundance more to add. It wasn't a great game. The only positive from the game was you got the 3 points and a clean sheet, but that literally for me is the only positive from the game. Puts us in a strong position in terms of the league for the Champions League. Another 4 points, and I think you're pretty much there. But that aside, it wasn't a very good watch, and it's not clicking. But one player I wanted to kind of just mention that I went after the game. I watched an extended highlights clip on YouTube, and I can say that because I've got evidence of literally watching the entire game on the internet and witnesses. Is Martinelli, because he actually played a little bit better than I think I gave him credit for. He did a bit more than I think I did. I said in my fan cam, and just
I agree with that, Jordan.
His output was better than it has been, and by output I don't mean goals and assists. I just mean he beat his man once or twice more than I remembered. He got 3 or 4 kind of really good crosses into the back post over the course of the game, and that's the Martinelli that I want to see. And even the goal that he scored, he was, if I'm not mistaken, it was him that scored the same. Was it him? No, it was Jorginho. The Martinez goal against Villa, where he hit the goalkeeper and went again. But my point is that him doing that and showing a little bit of impetus, where he just beats his man or gets a shot off or just sticks it across the back post, just something. I've not seen that from him for quite a while. Normally he gets it and then he either gives it away or he passes it back. There's no output. It's just like, what's the point in that? But yesterday, actually, he seemed to use his pace because he's really, really quick. And for someone that's really, really fast, he doesn't use his pace, I don't think, as much as he should. Even just like kick and run. There's not many players that on a kick and run can keep up with him. But having watched back the highlights yesterday, I saw a few more times of his output, a few bits of his output than I remembered. So I thought he came out of it better than I remembered.
Can I add to that, Jordan, very quickly? Sorry, because I actually agree, and you're right. I wasn't giving him the credit on the watch long he deserved, and I think, to be honest, like the second half, I was watching it on autopilot. But he was also creative from his crossing had purpose. He was picking out a few players, and there was a sort of a danger to the passing or the crosses, and we were pretty critical of the attackers on the day. I thought Jesus was bright at times, mainly in the first half. But yeah, you're right to sort of pick out Martinelli. Also work rate, the amount of times balls whipped into the box from Shakhtar, and he was the one at the back post taking the touch and clearing it, and moments like that. So,
but that's the one thing.
He had a real go on the day, Martinelli. You're right.
His work rate is but his work rate is one thing that I never doubt. Yeah, that's something that he does as a standard. He's very consistent with his work rate. But what he's not consistent with, and he hasn't been consistent with, is output going forward. And just on the Liverpool game, we're going to need that. He's the one. If Saka's not there on the weekend, and it's looking like he won't be there, we need Martinelli to really be that threat, because Havertz isn't the sort of guy that can do something out of nothing. Havertz is the guy that holds the ball, can finish, but we need someone like Martinelli to carry the ball, to be a threat, to be getting in behind. We really need him to be the guy on the weekend for me. Of all the players, I'm looking for him to really step up.
I think yesterday he took the mantle of being I've got to play well today. But I want, I can't emphasise this enough. if it's not for Calafiori, he doesn't score that goal. Have a look at it. He makes the run, right?
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
When he does the jink, the defender goes with the run. That gives him the space to come in and he scores. I think at times, Calafiori has helped out Martinelli. I really do, because he's one of those players that's not going inside, but he's going outside, and it gives him the option to play that ball outside or come inside and score that goal. If you have a look at the run, have a look what the defender does. He goes for the Calafiori run, and sometimes running off the ball is so important to give players space. I think when you look at it, Saka has it with Ben White doing it quite a lot down that side, gives you the option. You ain't always going to use it. You use it sometimes, but it adds to your game. And I think that because of Calafiori's been playing, I think Martinelli's performances have picked up. I really do. So
yeah, I agree with that. He definitely benefits from having him. You know, because he's someone who can charge down the left and then overlap as well. And like you said, it kind of helps make that a little bit of space. And people might sort of think, oh, you guys are overreacting to a basic run from Calafiori. But it is those little moments that can just alter the direction of a player, open you a little bit of space, and suddenly you got a shot on goal. So, yeah. But I've got a question for you guys, right? And I said this in like my match reaction. This is a very, very, very optimistic Arsenal fans look at things. But we might have even talked about it before. Do you think there are certain games in which the Arsenal team do almost play in a certain gear? Do you think there's certain games in what might be a busy schedule where there's another big game coming up where almost the intention is, you know, let's talk about it like it's a car, right? Arsenal genuinely go, right, today we're not getting out of third. And I'm not saying it is. I'm just wondering, do you guys think that exists? Forget Arsenal. Do you think that exists in football? Do you think it exists that teams manage almost their intensity and their almost just quite how much they give to a game for certain games in a season?
Yeah, I think good teams can.
I do, but I don't know if that's applicable here. I think we're in a funk.
I agree. I think we're in poor form. I was just curious whether. What do you think, Turkish? Do you think that exists?
That's the Truman Show stuff I was talking about earlier. It's just, yeah, man. I mean, when we know every game counts against Man City throughout the season, and I know we're talking about a Champions League fixture here, but we're talking about a massive game coming up on Sunday. I don't think you go into, and I think it's you can dash that notion out the window against Shakhtar, because you want your attack to get goals against such a side. You want your attack to fill their boots a bit. You want them to get the confidence needed to move forward. And, we don't need to worry about the attack. We didn't. So I think it's more of funk than it is anything about maybe a self-inflicted management of intensity so early on in the season. But we are light. So maybe that comes into play. Regardless of Liverpool on Sunday, we are light numbers-wise. So maybe we do have to manage the intensity. Maybe there is a bit of truth to that. It just sounds to me that it's another excuse or reason that you can't quite narrow down on and pinpoint, because only time will tell how true it is. And I know a lot of the positivity merchants that they like to put their metrics in, because they never like to address what it is now. They'd always like to play it out. Oh, transfer window's closed, don't talk about that anymore. These kind of things happen. So
and for what it's worth, I think we are just in a bit of poor form. Because I think Southampton, we didn't look really at it. Bournemouth, we were really poor in this game. Yeah, I mean, why would the intention be to not try and find momentum in this game ahead of Liverpool? So I do agree with you. I just wonder whether, forget even in the 90 minutes, maybe Arteta isn't saying in the dressing room before kickoff, everyone, playing second gear. Sorry, he's a bit of a snorer, this dog, so you might hear him. But at the same time, does it maybe get to a second half, or does it get to the hour mark in which there's a chance you either go chase that second goal, go all out for it, or maybe it's right, keep things sensible? I'm not saying that's right. And by the way, I'm just asking questions. I think Arsenal just poor on the day, to be honest.
If he's doing that, James, then he's an idiot. Because at 1-0, you can't be like, all right, guys, I think we've got this. Let's just see this game out at 1-0.
But it's not even seeing it out. It's commit one man less to the attack. It's little things like that. What do you think? Right.
I think I said it yesterday. I don't know when people turn around. I think Junior said it's going to be 4 or 5-0. I said no. We get to about 2-0 and reserve energy. Good teams do that.
Great.
I think that if you look back at the Atalanta game, I don't think we was right at it that game. Why? Because we've got Man City.
Yeah, we weren't doing everything to win that game. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
So there was like we're doing enough to get a point. Point's not bad in the context of what we're looking at, and we're reserving. And I think that good teams do that all through the time. I think Arsenal done it in their prime under Wenger. We'd go 2 or 3-0 up. Do you remember? I don't know, because we like to moan at things. You know what I mean? Even when we was great in the Arsenal Wenger era, we always used to say, I don't know if you guys did as well. Like we beat a team 2 or 3-0. Well, we should have beat them 6 or 7. We didn't really go for it like that. But I think there was a lot of that times that Arsenal were going, do you know what? We won the game. We're rest it now and lock this one down and then go again. Like instead of going winning, 6, 7, 8-0. We never done that under Wenger. Never done that really that much. And I think there is a little bit of that at this moment in time. I even think we played the game we played really well against PSG. We locked it down in the second half. Didn't really go too much for it. So I do think at this moment in time there is a little bit of conserving energy. I think all good teams do that. I'm not saying that we're in a position where we can do that. I'm saying, but I sort of give the poor performance against Atlanta because of what was coming and what was in between. What we'd just gone through. Beat Spurs, of course, and then done that. And maybe this game is the same, you know what I mean, before the Liverpool game. I think after Sunday, I think we know. Because I think that
Sunday will tell us a lot.
Sunday will tell us a lot. If everybody really looks at it and be fair about it, we haven't played well since Manchester City. Played fantastically well against Man City. First half.
I slightly disagree. I think Leicester and PSG were legitimately good performances. I know it's because of the manner and how we beat Leicester that we feel like that was bad because you're 2-0.
Yeah, but overall performance. What I'm saying, James, I get what you're saying, but you can't defend like we did against Luton, against Leicester, like 2 goals. You can't afford to do that against Liverpool. You can't afford to give Liverpool 2 goals on Sunday. They've got to earn.
I still think their goals were lucky, Leicester. I think Southampton's a better example, but I think against Leicester and PSG we were good. Genuinely, I think we thoroughly deserved those wins.
Oh yeah, but I've not come out of the I come out of the ground at Man City thinking, wow, that first half performance was frightening for them. Like that, they were worried. You know what I mean? Like, huh? What's he say?
Don't know. You're right there, Jordan.
No, he's gone up. No, first half I thought they'd give it their best against us, Man City, for 20 minutes and could have run all over us. And then second, and then we bounced back. It was a great performance, and obviously what happened. But I've generally come away from games like yesterday and just thinking, I expect a little bit more from our team. But I don't know, it's a results business, isn't it?
Sorry, Jordan can't hear anyone. Can you hear us, Jordan?
I
pressed
on. Yeah, I
can hear you. Yeah, his technology is worse than mine. Come on, it is, boys. It really is. You don't know
can hear him. He's back.
I'm not sure he is.
No.
Jordan, you back?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Oh, right, fine.
You're fine, but I can't hear Lee properly.
You can't hear Lee at all.
How'd you do that? What setting do you put on to not hear Lee? Because I'd love that setting. I'll be honest with you. I think I need to upgrade.
How you've managed to mute Lee?
No, I can hear Lee, but he's coming through like really late. You two are clean and in sync, but Lee's like out of sync for me.
All right.
Hopefully it finds its place. We'll give it a minute or so. We'll see. Where was we, Lee? James was about to respond to what you just said, but I forgot.
I can't remember what he said.
No.
this podcast is going about as well as yesterday's. What was wrong? Look, I think we're probably going to start looking ahead to Liverpool. What I'll say is this, right? We won the game. And if Arsenal are going to have some bad days, I'd like us to be putting points on the board. That's what frustrated me so much about Bournemouth. So let me try to be consistent. I said against Bournemouth, and no one wants to hear that, oh, now he's disappeared. We've lost 2. Lee, it's just me and you now.
I want that setting.
He's just gone now, Jordan. Anyway, I said against Bournemouth, and again, let me try to be consistent, that if we're going to have bad days, at least get a bloody point on the board.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a bad-ish day. We weren't great. Bournemouth was a bad day. And I just feel like City in these situations, City aren't always scintillating. Watch quite a lot of City games. They're not always super exciting and relentless and like, wow, like this is, exceptional. Put your feet up and just enjoy the football they're playing. They can actually be quite pedestrian, quite boring, and quite actually just clinical and quite like almost surgical. Like we're just going to do the job and just, not really entertain you much or whatever. So if I was going to have days like yesterday and you come out with a win and a clean sheet, fantastic. At least we have a defense we can rely on to, get us out of trouble in that sense. But then Bournemouth, what annoys me is sometimes when we have a really bad day, like we did against Fulham, like we did against Villa, where actually even the Villa performance was good, we just have this ability to, oh, we're not going to win the game. Oh, well, we've lost. It's like, well, just put a point on the board, put a point on the board, put a point on the board, get a draw and move on and call it a bad day. But at least you're unbeaten, run still in check, and at least you did something to add to your tally. So Arsenal frustrated me more on the weekend because of that. It felt like a bit of an implosion from us, but at least we won this game and we weren't great. Like there's something to be said for that. It's not great, and I'm worried about our long-term performance. No, I'm not that worried, but you can be concerned about it. But hey, we won, and I'm always going to enjoy an Arsenal win.
Just one thing before we go on to Liverpool. The one thing I was seething about yesterday was the penalty. Seething about it.
Don't ask Jordan about that.
Like I'm looking at it, like everybody around me, everybody's going right. Havertz is going to break the record now. He's
gone again.
He was going to break the record yesterday. He's the main man up front. You need to score goals. Like my mate was saying yesterday, which was a great point. He says, like, when Harry Kane gets 20, 25 goals at the end of the season, no one's saying, 12 of them were penalties or whatever. It's 25 goals. He's the man up front. There's a thing about does he score enough goals and all that. He's got an opportunity there. I've seen him take penalties and all that. I cannot believe that he did not take that penalty yesterday. And I'm not saying because Trossard missed. It was nothing to do with that. Even when Trossard missed it, I was still fuming. Even if he'd have scored this, you've got to have your goal scorer opportunities to score goals. He's playing. He plays a lot of his play, particularly yesterday, as you said earlier on, James, trying to connect play and all that. You've got an opportunity from 6 yards. It has to be him. A poor decision all round yesterday.
I actually totally agree with you on that, by the way. I totally agree with you. I'm sure behind the scenes, they're doing their penalty practice and they have a hierarchy and it's all figured out. There's not one detail that Arteta leaves unchecked. But Havertz has a phenomenal penalty record. You're right, he's our 9. You can add more to his tally. Why are we not giving him the penalty? Like he's just, forget also for his sake, he's just the best taker. He's never missed a competitive game penalty ever. Yeah, I think the only one he's ever missed in his career was Man United in July in LA when we were watching it. And when we'd already won that game, it was a friendly shootout. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I agree. He should have been stepping up and taking that for me.
I think Trossard took it. There's a bit of.
You were saying that you think he actually
100%. I think he took it, and I don't think Kai's the sort of character to ruffle feathers.
Yeah, it annoyed me like Kai didn't. Turkish, I agree with you. I think that it was like, he's not playing well, and he's thought like, I need the goal. And for me, Kai let me down yesterday by saying, he should have said, I'm having that. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe that happened yesterday. Shocking.
I actually forgot about the whole record you're talking about. That would have been 8 games in a row, isn't it? So
yeah.
Even that aside, that aside, I mean, that involved now. I thought it was weird anyway. I just thought, all right, you have the confidence to take it. You're experienced, you've got the arrogance and a bit of selfishness to you, well, great players do. But you can't just put it down the middle like so nonchalantly and think it's okay. And in that second half as well, Trossard nearly he gave them one of their best chances before the last 5 minutes of the game. A silly little back pass that the guy capitalized on. If he had a bit of composure, there was a guy to his right with a clear shot in the box. So that could have turned out very different. But Trossard's had a mare the last 2 games. I'm going to be honest, a mare in the last 2 games. And he just seems a bit arrogant with it. He's a great bench man. He's not a great star. That's full stop for me. Whether it's 10, whether it's left wing, whether it's false 9, he is not a great starter. but he's a great 12th man. That's nothing against him.
Well,
But yeah,
if you ask Brighton fans, right, when we signed him, I think they'd tell you that he wasn't perfect. Like there were things about him that they found really frustrating as well. What we've seen is a really clutch player who let's give him the credit in the running, man. He showed up.
Yep.
And also he's a player who can play across 2-3 positions very comfortably. And he's cold in front of goal, especially in big moments and big games. And he could produce something out of nothing. The problem is, and I was saying this a little bit at the end of last season, and once again, people got upset about it at the time. And then I asked a question a couple of weeks ago, Trossard or one area. People said, you're disrespecting Trossard. There's something about Trossard's play. He doesn't, for a full 90, or sometimes he does, like PSG, for example. But he doesn't always run a game of football. Like the game flows through him. He gets the ball, he gives it a go. Then he's taking players on. Then he's in the final third, causing havoc. But he might get that crucial second goal that puts you 2-0 up. He might pull out that great assist. He might put it in the top corner out of nothing. Like Trossard's got this ability to do so. When you watch the comps, you're thinking, what a player we've signed.
Yeah.
But you watch him throughout a 90, he can go missing a little bit. He can float in and out of a game. He could even go a couple of games where he doesn't do anything. But guess what? He's got the goal at Old Trafford and you've won 1-0 and you're going, here's Trossard once again. I think he's a bit of a moments player. Now, I've been asking for a moments player, so I'm not going to complain about that. Different players have different strengths. Martinelli might not tally up the numbers Trossard does, but I bet if you removed goals and assists, which I know is a silly thing to say, but if you did and you made comps of their seasons, Martinelli looks by far the better player. Like, there's, do you know what I mean?
All stitched in, I get you. Yeah.
If you could have looked at the flair and the taking on players and the kind of the wide play. So I'm a huge Trossard fan, but it's about understanding his strengths. I said to you yesterday, Turkish, that we've got depth for the front three, and I think people see it as this: Jesus is Havertz's backup, Sterling is Saka's backup, and Trossard is Martinelli's backup. That's typically how Arteta's use them a little bit. I think we need to almost give them all. We need to rotate them all one and go. Jesus is Saka's best backup. He's the best second right winger. He's by far played that position the best. Trossard is much better in central areas. He's the false nine. He should be number 2 to Havertz. And who's left? Sterling. Sterling is the number 2 to Martinelli. He's the most like for like. And that's how they all line up in the pecking order for me.
Also, I just want to say, I wasn't bothered by his celebration at Aston Villa. I wasn't. I didn't think nothing of, but I do now.
Yeah. I brought it up yesterday as well because I don't have a problem with it. I love the confidence and a bit of arrogance. And to be honest with you, when you come on and you win a game in that fashion, I get it. You deserve to start the next game. I said it. But look, we can date this back to day one. I mean, Trossard's come in, moments player. He's clutch for sure, and he's been very important. But how many games has he started where he's had a good performance? Maybe 1, 2 max, and even then it's a stretch. By performance, I mean 90 or 70 or however long he's been on the pitch. He's not had one, whether that's in number 10, false 9 or left wing. There's not one game where we can look at and say he dictated everything or he took the game to them, or we can say he won it for us, yes, in moments, 100%. And that's not nothing against him because that's as important as someone, you have on the pitch that is giving you 90-minute performances. But you know, he hasn't followed it up. And it's a shame that we've left ourselves in a position where, to be honest, Martinelli as well, I know this season he hasn't, set the world alight, work rate up 100. But I just feel like we've got 2 backup left wingers in the left wing position. And that's just, I think we haven't got an out-and-out start. I think Martinelli is the one because he's the youngest one. He's the one that, has come through the ranks. But I just feel like none of our left wingers have really taken that role this season.
No one's taken it at the moment. And there's 3 candidates for it, arguably 4. Martinelli and Trossard are the 2 we think about. Sterling got the start against Southampton, and Jesus has played plenty of football out on the left for Arsenal. So you've got 4 candidates. You need one to grab it. Because while I think Havertz was fine yesterday and not great against Bournemouth, Havertz for me has done his thing this season, holding up play, getting plenty of goals. And, there's still more we want to see, but I feel like the trajectory has been good. Saka, for sure, has had both big performances and big moments. We need that left winger to come to the party at the moment and someone to grab it. But I think Martinelli yesterday, effort-wise, is trying to say to us he's trying to grab that position. And you know what? It didn't quite all come off for him yesterday. But I think Martinelli's still our best starting left winger. I
Yeah,
want him
he is,
starting
yeah.
against Liverpool.
Yeah, okay, and that leads us perfectly on. I mean, Liverpool, is Jordan at risk of audio? Not yeah, we can hear you. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm here.
How do we set up? You know, look, Ben White, news from Mikel. He said, you know, he took him off because of a yellow card. Doesn't want to risk another red. I
That's
guess,
really good news. That's
yeah,
really good news.
yeah, 100%. Which gives us, you know, wider options. Obviously, we don't have news on Timber and Saka yet, and all this stuff. And Arteta's also said that, and I quote, or I loosely quote, "We will be flying on Sunday. Trust me on that." Initially on that comment first, Jordan, we will be flying on Sunday. To me, I said it to James yesterday. I think that's a sign of a rattled man. But James disagreed, I think, yesterday. Me, reason being because I think when you make such definitive statements, I said the same with Ange when he said, "In my second year, I'll win stuff." When you make such definitive statements as a manager, it is a worry, because as much as I agree with you, we need to be flying, and you know, we need to be doing that on Sunday. You've put that out there now, and if we don't fly, yeah, if we do not fly, then there's big problems at his table, because especially because he said that now. So, what do you make of that? Do you think it's
Yeah,
because he's feeling away, or do you think I'm just looking too much into it and it's fight talk?
I don't know either way. All I know is just louder talking. I'm just done with the talking. Like, if it's just behind closed doors, do the work that provides the performance and result we need on Sunday. If it makes you feel better to come out and tell the world, don't worry, Sunday, my lot, they're going to be on things on Sunday, then fine. If it's your way to say nothing and just kind of keep your mouth shut and do your work, cool. Either way, the talking don't really matter to me. All I'm hoping is that he delivers on the weekend. Maybe he recognizes that he's had a couple of bad games and he's got to get the team energized. He's got to do his bit to get the team right. Have I frozen?
No, you're here, man.
I've frozen.
No, you're good. You're good.
Right.
Jordan,
You're all right.
Jordan. What's going on right now? Can't even preview a game.
he was flying through it, and then he went,
I froze.
and then just left. I came back with worse internet. Jordan,
Do you know how long I was talking for before I realized that it frozen?
No, you haven't
can hear
frozen.
you.
Frozen again.
Jordan, just sit there for 10 minutes. Don't worry. We won't ask you no question. Just look good and smile.
yeah,
It's definitely
That's it.
frozen.
Stay
now.
like that. Stay like that.
It's definitely
just
frozen.
nod
now.
along.
Let's just leave it like that, bro. Leave it like that.
That's so funny. He was on a roll and then just decided he was frozen.
This is the thumbnail picture I'm taking out right there. Perfect. Cool. So what do you lot make of it, James? I spoke with you.
Yeah.
Lee, we're flying on Sunday. Trust me on that.
Well, I think it's a little bit of fighting. So I don't think he was happy. He's not been happy with their performance against Bournemouth, obviously, and I don't think he was probably happy with it yesterday. And I also think that he was saying that maybe like they need a little bit of a rest, bit of a couple of days off now, like which they're going to get. They've got the extra day on Sunday. I think that I do think we'll see a different Arsenal on Sunday. I really do. I'm not saying that we're going to maybe win the game, but I do think that we'll see a different Arsenal. I think we're really pushed for this game, but we'll be a lot more at it. I do think that there's problems at this moment in time, though, for Arteta, and I think that defensively, I don't know what's happening with Timber. Certainly, like if you look at Ben White the last couple of games, I think it's okay being out injured and then coming back, but when you come back, you're not quite at it. I think that Ben White yesterday wasn't quite at it. He was like booked for a tackle. The referee did warn him, by the way, one more and you're off. So, you know, I think that you need games. So you're going to chuck Timber into this game. A little bit short of fitness and whatever. Saka as well. Maybe like, you know, it looks a bit like you're a bit desperate. And I don't want us to feel like that. I think, you know, we've got to have a lot of confidence going into this game. But I think that there is a method in what he said there. I think Arteta doesn't want to have a go at the players, doesn't want to. But there was just a little gentle reminder, like this, we've got to go to work on Sunday and be at our very, very best. I'll tell you this now: if we're anything like we have been at home in the last 3 or 4 games, or anything like we've been in the games over the last few weeks, they will punish us. They will punish us. So we've got to be on our game. And I think that, we will be.
Can I just say, Jordan, bless your heart, we could hear you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just...
Oh, could you?
Yeah. Oh,
but you
Houdini's
froze.
been more present in this podcast than you have.
I was talking and then you all froze. So I just thought,
we all froze. Right.
Yeah, you all froze for me. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Jordan.
On the fight. Oh, sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, all I was going to kind of just conclude by saying was that Liverpool. This is obviously, that goes without saying, a massive game. Liverpool, the sort of team that look like they're a very solid, efficient, cohesive team, as opposed to the rock and roll style football under Klopp, where they're going to really stick it on you, high pace, high energy. They seem to be a lot more controlled, and in a really weird way, that's harder for us.
It is.
I think we'd be better off. I think we'd be better off facing a Klopp team where Liverpool could be 2 up in the first 15 minutes, but they could also give you chances to go 2 up as well. This team looks a lot more compact, a lot more organized, a lot more solid, and in a time when we're not creating a lot. This could be a long game for us. This could be a really long game for us. And I think the key is Saka. I think if Saka doesn't play in this game, and it's looking like he's not going to play in this game, I'm genuinely concerned. Because if we lose this game, we then go 7 points behind Liverpool. I think it
behind
is.
Liverpool, 6 behind City.
Yeah, that is not good.
It's a must-win in the context of where we are right now.
100%. Must win.
And to be honest, it'll be more damning if we don't and Arne Slot plays the way he's playing, because I'm not going to say it's the same as Mikel, but in terms of, trying to control more and in-game management, I think that's a lot of what he's brought in comparison to Klopp. If they go and beat us on Sunday playing that way in his first 3 months as manager, it's not going to be good reading. We dominate the ball. We're at home. We're meant to take the game to the opposition. And right now, I don't think we've got the guns to take the game to a Bournemouth or a Shakhtar, let alone a Liverpool. So it's going to be an interesting one, man. Saka is the key. He's definitely a key, but I also don't think Saka starting alone means we go and win that game. I still think it's going to be a tough. I think Odegaard's the biggest loss we have at the moment.
I think.
Can I ask all 3 of you, if he's not fit, do you start him?
Saka?
Yeah.
No.
We've got Newcastle and Chelsea coming up, which is you can start Liverpool, win the game, and then go and drop points against Newcastle, Chelsea without Saka. So there's a balance to it. I don't know how to answer that, Jordan. I'm not the man that's gonna face the consequences or the praise.
Only because I am putting a lot of importance on his inclusion if he starts. I'm just wondering if he's not fully fit and it exacerbates the injury, makes it worse, and then he's out for another 4 or 5 weeks. Is it worth if you get the 3 points here? Because this is a must-win.
I think if we was playing Liverpool yesterday, he'd have played.
Okay.
I think that they've looked at it and thought, we could risk him against Bournemouth, could risk him against Shakhtar, but we are holding back for them.
He did say after the game he's unlikely to feature on the weekend.
He's a liar, Arteta, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too much.
He will just because he was saying in the press conference that Arteta and Saka are close, that they're going to see. That was on Monday, and then on Tuesday, it's unlikely he's available for Sunday. So something made him close for Tuesday, but totally unavailable or unlikely for Sunday. He didn't sound available. I misspoke. He said unlikely. I mean, Yeah, he wants to play mind games, Mikel. And with that quote about we'll be flying on Sunday, one thing I'll give Arteta credit for is he's typically been quite good at getting a reaction from his players when we hit a little bit of a bad run or a bad spot. But I hope he's calculated this one right, because someone said on Twitter, and I love the quote, they said that quote's going triple platinum either way, either because it looks terrible or because the Arsenal fans after are just going,
He told us. He told us. He did tell
Mikel.
us. Yeah.
And I hope it's that moment, man. I really hope it's a flexing moment for Arteta and the players. Because if we win on Sunday, you know, it will drastically change the feeling around the club in what's been a bit of a tepid last 2-3 weeks.
Sorry, James. The reason why, going back to Turkish saying that he doesn't think Saka will be the defining factor of a win or not, the reason why I think it will be in it, and I think it can be, is because even if performance-wise he's not up to scratch and doesn't make an impact that he normally does, then this might sound really weird, but just corners.
Yeah,
Taking those in-swinging corners alone is a massive weapon that we don't have when he's not taking those in-swinging corners. So that might sound a little bit minor, but if Saka gets 5 corners over the course of the game, I'm backing him to put 3 of them in danger areas that could result in a goal. So I think his inclusion is that important personally. And just, they've
No, I don't question the importance of it for sure. I just don't, I'm not going to say if Saka starts the game, I'm 100% confident of a win. I can't say that.
I'm expecting to win without him.
Yeah, I mean, we need to win that game. Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, I agree with that. We need to win without.
I mean,
the problem is that Arsenal are maybe not as good as the more really positive Arsenal fans want to think we are in terms of the depth in the front line or how deep the squad is in general and all that kind of stuff. But I also think we're not as bad as then maybe rival fans might enjoy us to be right now. We're not as, whether it be Arsenal are boring or Arsenal are this or whatever. And I just think I still expect if it's Gabby Jesus lining up on the right, no, he's not as good as Bukayo Saka. We know that. But I'm still expecting to win. We beat Man City with Jesus on the right last season. Why should I not think that we can beat them?
We've got our best players out at this moment. Saka, right? We're going to Saka, Odegaard, and Saliba at this moment are out of the game. We've had players like Declan Rice out this season as well, for games and everything. And other teams have turned around and said, "Oh, when we've had our best players out, what do you expect? We're going to lose games and all that." Like I remember Tottenham losing their players last season. Oh, what do you expect? We've lost our best players and everything like that. Arsenal have lost their best players this season, and we're still getting results, even though Bournemouth aside. So you have to give us the credit for that, even though we've, wait, you said if you have Odegaard out for a long while, Manchester City have had De Bruyne out for quite a while now. They've found a way. They found a way with Rodri being out the side, and everybody compliments them, saying, "Oh, Man City done well without that." With us, it's like, "Oh, we're boring. We're doing this. We're doing that." It's just the way it is. At the end of the day, we have got players out at the moment. We've got a lot of injuries this season. When people go, "Oh, you hadn't had no injury," like last season, "Oh, you hadn't had no injuries." We had injuries last season. We've had injuries this season. We knew we was going to have Timber out, in and out a lot this season. We've had like Tomiyasu out this season injured. Calafiori's been out injured. We've even had our goalkeeper out for a game this season injured. We've got we've had lots of players out this season.
But still got to win. I think it's
we've
still got to win.
Yeah,
I think I don't want to be here doing this podcast on Sunday night or Monday morning, and we lose to Liverpool. And but Saliba was out.
No excuses.
Win the game. Win the game. Manchester City, as you just said there, Lee, have won titles with their key players missing key parts of the season. I don't want to. Just briefly, I heard some quotes from Roy Keane the other day saying that when Arsenal were down to 10 men, we should have still beaten Brighton and found a way to hang on against Manchester City. And at the time, I thought he was being really harsh. But I think the underlying point he was making was that when you're going for a title, you have to find a way. You just have to find a way. Whether it's down to 10 men, whether it's key players missing, find a way. If this was at Anfield, you might take a point. It's at home. Win the game. Yeah. I don't care. Just win the game. I think Saka, I'm a lot more confident Saka's going to be there. But even if he's not there, I don't want to hear any excuses. Find a way, Mikel. This is your time now to find a way. You spent a lot of money. This is a crucial year. Yeah, find a way. I don't want to be hearing no excuses come Sunday night.
I think that is
Yeah.
I think that is quite a difference as well. I think you mentioned Roy Keane, and listen, Roy Keane, on one hand, I love him as a pundit. Obviously, I'm Irish as well. There's that link. But on the other hand, I know how some of the things he says can be taken. But we've got to understand his mentality was elite. That is the best Premier League captain of all time. And as disingenuous maybe as some of the things he might say is, believe it. Roy Keane wouldn't be happy going down to 10 men with 45 to go and losing a game in that era. He wouldn't have been. Whether being a fool or not, that's just the mentality he had. And I think that is the mentality we should have. Whereas we tend to, as a sphere, an Arsenal sphere, it's the 10 men, it's the referees. And that kind of builds some subconscious that, you know, you can use that as a siege mentality or you can use it as an excuse as well. I think what Keane said, obviously, if he's talking about himself and his experiences and the man he is, I think he ain't telling a lie. That's how he is. Obviously, I still think a point at the Etihad is a positive point, but I also
agree.
it's the mentality of the. I don't think the players left Etihad feeling upset, that as upset as they should have at, you know, letting it get back to 2-2. I feel like there was always the caveat of, all right, we know what, we defended for the large part of the second half. We was down to 10 men. It was inevitable. It happened. Whereas the feeling should have been, fuck, we fucked it in the last minute, even though it's still a good point. Do you get what I mean? It's a weird one.
My biggest problem
is
with
a good point, but I think I agree with Roy Keane what he's saying about certainly Brighton. We're 1-0 up in that game. We're winning that game. That was poor. I thought it was poor management. I thought we went too defensive instead of being a little bit more attack. And Roy Keane's got substance to this because we went down to 10 men in the FA Cup semi-final. It was him that got sent off. And at that time, it was level, and they found a way to win that game. So, you know, I get that. On normal circumstances, that day they lose that game because it was a penalty like in the last minute from Bergkamp. Normally, and they would have lost in the last minute. Fine lines. There's always things on that. Like, you know, I have no problem with what happened at Man City. No problem whatsoever. I do have a problem with the way we finished the game against Brighton, and certainly against Bournemouth. I don't think we should lose to Bournemouth 2-0 when we've gone down to 10 men. I think, I'll be honest, the manager and the defensive attitude that he put in that game cost us. I think if you go, right, okay, we've gone down there, right, let's go free at the back or keep the same players on the team, not bring an extra defender on. I think mentally that shows you was being a little bit too cautious. That's my opinion. But, you know...
I think my overall point is that there's no excuse, whether it's 10 men, whether it's injuries, whether it's suspensions, just get the job, find a way to get the job done.
Yeah.
Get the job done. We're going for a title. It's not going to be easy. Liverpool, if we could really, I think we need to kind of just put Liverpool back in their box a little bit this weekend, because they're kind of creeping into this title talk a little bit too much for my liking. And if they beat us, they might arguably surpass us in terms of favourites, because, you know, beating us at the Emirates and going 7 points clear, that puts them in a really good position. We've just got to beat them, put them back in their box. I don't want to hear Saliba wasn't there, Saka wasn't there. Find a way. We were very lucky last year with injuries. Apart from Timber and arguably Partey, we didn't really have any serious injuries last season. Not really. This year we do. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind time, we're gonna go into predictions, but I want to ask 3 questions. Simple answer, 1 word, 2 words. No need to really delve into it too much. We'll go around. James, who partners Gabriel?
Ben White.
Lee?
If fit, Timber.
Okay. Jordan?
Ben White, because I'm assuming Timber starts.
Right.
Can I change my mind and actually move Timber to centre back and White right back?
Okay. I'm with Jordan. Right back Timber, right centre back White. Midfield 3, James.
Partey, Rice, and I'm giving him one more chance, Trossard.
Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Jordan?
Partey, Rice, Ranieri.
Yeah, Partey, Rice. I mean, it's just Trossard. It's just another chance. Yeah, we Trossard.
Turkish though, really boring little tactical thing though. I want Rice on the right side of Partey so he can support that side. So when Trossard's drifting left, you got balance in the midfield.
Okay.
It's a small thing, but we did it against Man City. We in that first half.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not making things up here. Like, we've done it. Do it again.
Fair. And it's hard to. You know what? I'll leave the attacking three out. We don't have news on Saka, so it's really hard to pick the.
See what we think. Do we think he's there? I'm going Saka.
Well,
I'm going Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. I think Saka will play.
well, we're all starting that, aren't we? If he's fit. So what's
Yeah.
our starting three if he's not? Is it just purely Jesus comes in?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
if he's not fit, Jesus, Havertz, Martinelli. That's mine.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you might say Sterling has one more thing to add to the, his Liverpool, his ex-club, maybe. But I mean, it's a tough choice between Jesus and Sterling because neither of them have really done their thing. All right, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on the lineup, your thoughts on the Shakhtar result and the Liverpool game coming up. Must win. How do we go about it? Lineups you want to see? Obviously, the news on Saka right now ain't great, but in a couple of days it might be very different. It's only Wednesday, the game's Sunday. We're gonna move into predictions. Everyone got a point against Shakhtar. No one got the 1-0 score right. So James sits top 17 points. Jordan in second on 14. Lee's in third on 12, and I'm still bottom on 7 points, some way off. James, Liverpool, Emirates, Sunday.
Right, and let's do it on the app. I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. Okay, you're putting that on the app now. Don't forget, people, AFTV Plus app. The Fourever Predictor is in the app. You can predict every single Arsenal game moving forward and play along with us and the rest of the Fourever community. Just download the app. It's free to download, and the Fourever Predictor's in there. It's free to play. So enjoy, people.
It looks like no one went for the 1-0, by the way, because
No.
I'm still level on 8 points at the top with Does It Matter? Lee, whereabouts are you, mate?
Must be halfway down. I've messed up with
That felt like a bit of a shot. That did.
I must be down. I've got the results right apart from Bournemouth. I just haven't got the right score.
I haven't seen your name, and I'm down to number 42.
Oh, geez, definitely a shot.
Oh, I'm now at number 107. I still can't see you, Lee. Where are you?
It's a massacre. It's a massacre. There's no need. There's just no need.
Oh, I shall find out. Like that. I mean,
he's gonna go.
I'm only on the third page. I'm now down to 178. I still can't see you, mate.
Oh, dear.
How many points is on the 178?
2.
Oh, no.
Got more than 2 points.
Have you, mate?
Oh, mate.
Maybe I haven't got my name on it. Maybe
Oh, maybe. User 174234.
I don't know how to use the thing. Do I just put me? I've got it in there somehow.
It's a miracle.
It comes up red on your bit, doesn't it? Like along there. I shall put it in the group where I am.
Yeah, let us know, mate. If you've cracked the top 100, man, congrats.
Thank you.
Big stuff. Big stuff.
Go on.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Marathon, not a sprint. Wise words. James gone 2-0, Jordan.
I'm going for a draw, but I can't decide between 0-0 or 1-1. I'll go 1-1.
Lee?
2-1.
2-2. 2-2. We've got 2-2, 1-1, 2-1, and 2-0. That's our prediction, people.
Wow, not a lot in it between all those, is there?
Not a lot in it at all. And that's without the Saka news obviously being confirmed yet, which we'll find out towards the end of the week. Okay, so that's the predictions, people. That was the prediction table. You know how we end the show. Surely we're on 1,000 likes now, but it's the comments of the day section. Everyone got their comments of the day?
Yeah, can I go first? Because mine's a semi-long one. It's quite a long comment. So it comes from Sabretooth. I'm not sure how to take this one, but patience, guys. Let me get through it. He says, Arteta is to blame, but more so is James. James has been running around the internet telling anyone that would listen how great Partey has been, despite all the stats saying otherwise. Defensively, subpar. Dribbled past, not enough interceptions, not enough tackles. Offensively, average. Offered us nothing. He's been a passenger. Imagine being Partey's age and people are judging by potential. He should never have started. Nwaneri is a like-for-like replacement for Erdegaard, and yet we start a third defence midfielder. Insane. Stop gassing up shoddy performances. Use your platform to keep us competitive by asking why we're not persisting with an aged, out-of-form Partey over a young and in-form creative dynamo. Shout out to James, though. He's normally spot on.
Well,
He's wrong about Partey. He's wrong about Partey.
He's completely wrong about Partey. Sabretooth, I don't know whether to argue with you because you said I'm more to blame than Mikel Arteta, who actually manages the team, or whether to thank you for shouting me out and saying I'm normally spot on. That might be the most confused I've ever been about what is a chapter's worth of comment. But you know what? I'm going to take it in the good way and say thank you. Love to Sabretooth.
You're a better man than me, James.
Yeah, better man than me.
yeah, we knew that.
How would you take that one? I started reading and go, what is this guy? Then by the end, I quite liked him.
Quite liked him, He turned it around, didn't he?
I don't
Yeah, he
like
turned
him.
it around.
Nah.
Hard one to judge.
Yeah, I won that.
I've got a couple here.
Go on.
Raf says Lee on the thumbnail can replace Thanos in the next Avengers.
Yeah, I had that as well.
I hate
You did
I
me and Lee
Voldemort to Thanos. That's
Ryan.
unbelievable.
I hate Ryan. I hate him.
Ryan did us
Yeah.
dirty on that one.
Yeah, he's a W.
He's a big W.
And DJ Red said this podcast is genuine therapy after an Arsenal loss. We go again. A lot of people mentioning that therapy, different perspectives, views, voices, emotions on the podcast. It resonates with very different areas and crowds in the Arsenal fan base. And that's how it should be. That's why I go back to what I said at the beginning of the show. If you don't like what someone says on the show, then, grow up a bit. You don't need to come moaning about it all over the gaff on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna. Imagine I started moaning about Lee everywhere. Everything I disagree with him on. I wouldn't have no time in the day for my son. I've got to focus on other things. I can't be focusing on what bullshit.
It's all about opinions.
Next up, who's up next?
I'll go next. I had both of those ones as well that you just done there, Turkish. But I've got a third one. It's got here. Jordan gets caught napping and goes off subject to act like he was listening the whole time.
Off camera and all.
And he's shut up. And he's timestamped it at 13:25. So I went back to check, and I wasn't napping, but I understand why he thought I was sleeping. But I actually wasn't sleeping. I was fully engaged. I was listening, and I made a response. But I understand why he thought I might have been sleeping. So it's that person. I was not sleeping, but I understand why he thought I was.
Okay. Ooh. Right.
He does that a bit, Jordan, though. I clocked it. I mean, I'll ask him about. I'll be like,
I'm going to go back and have a look at that.
what about Martinelli, Jordan? And then Jordan would be like,
believe me.
Yeah, I mean, we can get on to that point in a sec, but if we talk about Calafiori at left back and we say the midfield three wasn't working, I want to go back to all these things we just talked about.
Turkish, I'm an experienced broadcaster. I have all the techniques to buy myself some time.
Yeah.
What did you just ask me again? Anyway,
Jordan is like, yeah, no, I thought, yeah, Saka was great.
Go on, Lee.
I just want to give up a big up to Dom Hines, who's
James the prick.
He's the one who asked for the 8 a.m.s.
Unreal. Before I do my comment, I just want to give up big up to Dom Hines, whose dad Wayne passed away on Saturday in the Bournemouth game. So just want to give him a big up. He watches the show, watches all that stuff.
Don Hines, big up.
Yeah, so it was his dad was a massive gooner as well, and I just want to get me comment up there. Hold on 1 second. Where is it? Right, a little bit of an issue with it, really, because it says, Lee, every time Arsenal lose, I notice you feed on an Arteta to be sacked narrative. You pretend other fans are the ones saying it, but it's always you that bring it up.
It's true.
To even suggest to bring up absolutely ridiculous. You're being over emotional. I never ever said that I want him sacked. I'm a big Mikel fan.
He's spot on.
When he gets it wrong,
great comment.
I think he should be allowed to be criticised. As simple as that.
Doesn't sound like it.
Shut up, you. Shut up. I think that comment's spot on. And I look, listen, I'm still.
You called him a caterer.
Yeah, rightly he did on that game, and I rightly said. But I didn't want him sacked. He can come and be my chef anytime he wants. Like, you know? No problem whatsoever. I've got a lot of time for him as a manager. But when he gets things wrong, I will criticize. I
want him out.
There is a thing in this fan base where you're not allowed to criticise him. You know what I mean? Yes, you are. He's the manager of Arsenal Football Club. He's up there to be shot down at, criticised, praised, and whatever. That is part of his job. He knows that. And he knows if he gets wrong, he's going to be criticised and all that. But, you know, we lost one game. We've lost one game against Bournemouth after an unbelievable run that we've been on. I'm disappointed with Mikel on Saturday, but with his team selections, everything like that. But at the end of the day, I do not want him sacked. I'm a big fan of his, and I think that he's been fantastic for Arsenal. And even if this conversation about trophies, I'm not on that one and either. I'm going to back Arteta to be successful, and I do think that he will. But when he gets things wrong, I will call him out. Simple as that, you know. And I'm not gonna say that, but for him to be sacked, no way, Jose.
No way, Jose. To be honest, you did make a few funny comments in that last one. I can't lie. The one that made me laugh was he's gone down a road he should never have gone down. It was like a fucking movie. I was like, hey, what road's that? I need to make sure it's on my ways because I don't want to go down that road. And he's fucking angry.
I was angry. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean?
It's all mad. People, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Show some love to the individual channels. Goonaverse, Lead Judges TV, Whisper It Loudly, Turkish L, the end of Big Six. Make sure you're subscribed here. Love for the love. James is sorting out the little dog. Hopefully his name's not Win. What is his name?
Houdini.
It's Draw.
Houdini. Houdini's a decent name.
It's a great name. Look how cute he is. Sorry, he's I love him. He's quite needy, and he wanted to just be close the whole time. So yeah, I feel like is it Dr. Evil? You know when he's got his cat?
Yeah, Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Look at you.
See, that just shows you James' age, because it would be James Bond for me. Like, you know, do you remember Dr.
James Bond? But
no, I mean Austin Powers is still he's still done well.
It was Dr. No. Was it Dr. No that done that with the cat?
Yeah. That's where they got it from. That's the parody.
That's where they copied it from, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
Are we done yet?
No, I think we got comment of the month. You didn't know about that segment. We got the award show, the top 10 comments.
You got to go to sleep, have you? You got to go to sleep because you haven't been sleep on
I got to go work, mate. I got to go work.
All right.
Oh, it's all right for some. People. Jordan's got to go work, so we got to cut it off, people. Love for the love. We're at peace.